Ooh, purple.
Welcome everybody to MogTalk. Today is Saturday, February 18th, 2023. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. And I have two wonderful guests to kind of talk about a few things that have been going on in the community recently. First, let me have them introduce themselves. The newest member to come to MogTalk, Ko, could you tell everybody who you are?
Hi guys, my name is Kogon. I'm a YouTuber making 14 content, sometimes streams, and I kind of make everything. I talk about drama sometimes. I talk about like some things in the community that happens, and just make funny videos. So that's a little bit about me.
Are they
Thanks for having me,
funny?
Frosty. I think they're funny. A lot of people sometimes comment saying you're not funny, and I'm like, well, I get views and people
But
like
thanks
the
for
video,
the view, right?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the view. I'll
Thanks
take
for
it.
the view.
Yeah. So
And the comment and the engagement.
and the engagement, exactly.
Helping the
Yeah,
algorithm.
they're helping more
Yeah.
than the people who probably did enjoy the video,
are.
because the
They're
people who
hate
enjoyed
watching.
it,
Yeah.
like, they just say, hey, that's a nice video, and they go on, they don't do anything else. But this guy is
Yeah.
adding a comment.
Exactly.
They probably subscribe because they want to like make more angry comments.
No,
Pretty
that's
nice
what happens
video.
usually. I see some angry faces come back sometimes, and then there's a little feature. If you click on their account, it tells you how many times they've actually like commented on your videos, and I'm like, oh, they come back here often.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you guys ever
Regular.
want to make somebody happy that's a YouTuber, comment on their videos, because sometimes I watch a video and I don't usually comment, but I'll be like, that's a good video. But a lot of people get kind of critical about stuff and comment that, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I really need to do better, but I'm just so
So good.
tired. Like, I'm one of those that, like, I use Reddit, but I never
Mhm.
comment or post.
Yeah.
Or do anything.
Lurker, yeah.
A lurker, exactly. But if you ever want to make somebody's day, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So I get that. That's
Okay.
me. That's me though.
I do want to ask you one question. What's up with the little sun thing? I don't understand.
Oh
this
my
whole
god!
thing.
All right, we want the long story or short story?
I'm
I
fine
can try to
either
summarize
way.
it. Fine either way. Okay, so
Yeah.
around this time last year, 14. Most people know me as being like a huge Y'shtola like simp. Like I love Y'shtola so much; it's like my favorite character, and I
Mhm.
want to marry her and stuff. So around this time last year, around Valentine's Day, actually, 14 made a tweet something about like saying something about who would you like date or something. I forgot what I said exactly. I think it was something about like me, like I date you guys or something. The team just trying to flatter them because I'm trying to be nice because I know it's how hard it is to be the 14 Twitter account sometimes. And then they replied back with something like the line from Y'shtola where it's like I forgot the exact line, but because I try to blank it out of my memory because it's so traumatic. But they called me Little Sun.
Not interested.
Not interested, Little Sun. Yeah,
Mm.
and the whole community saw that, and they're like, "Wow, this guy got dunked on so hard." And I immortalized it as a pin on my Twitter account. And from since then, people call me Little Sun. I roll with it. I personally, I don't try to milk it as much because I don't want to be the get just the guy known for being Little Sun. But if people call me that, I play along with it. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I just kind of like find it funny. So that's the story. If you call me Little Sun, I don't mind it too much. But yeah,
It hurts just a little bit. Like, it's like
it just hurts a little bit. They're like, this guy can't get like anybody, and I'm like, I can too. My mom told me I'm beautiful, so like, I care what my mom says, not what you guys say. So yeah,
That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Llama, tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Llamatodd. Find me twitch.tv/Llamatodd. I do lots of in-game content, extreme, savage, ultimate, and I guess my focus would be just helping first-time raiders, new raiders, just tap into that and just kind of experience savage, maybe a little bit stress-free compared to maybe Party Finder, which is probably something you've had to deal with quite a bit, but it could be tough to navigate Party Finders. So we just try to help people out and show them it's not so bad, and just be there for that first time clear, man. It's awesome. It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling to like
It is.
play with someone and then mess up. People mess up sometimes, but
Oh yeah.
That is, I think, the number one thing that people say
Yeah.
they've never rated, and their number one fear is, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to wipe. I don't want to die and wipe the raid and get people mad at me. I'm like, that's a part of it. Like you learn very quickly that you're going to mess up every which way. But all the pro raiders out there, they have died every which way before you, so it's okay. Like
Yeah.
you get rid of that fear, and then it's like, okay, now you can learn. It's okay to die.
It's good. It's good to be in a group where someone doesn't sigh after you make a mistake.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's like, Frosty dead again. Can you believe
Sage.
Sage. This Sage is Lamau.
I don't know. I've been in your group a few times, Todd, and you sometimes sigh when I die when we're doing UCOB. No. Oh, it's your cat. Luke.
Yeah,
Great.
it's Luke.
You can't have Todd on without the cat showing up and like trying to like choke him. It's not a hug,
adorable.
guys. It's an attack.
I think she knows, like, whenever there's a camera on or I'm streaming, she just comes up here and she's like, "Oh, it's my time to shine."
To shine. I can hear her purring. The mic is picking her up really well.
Yeah, it is. She's a spoiled cat.
Oh. I wish I had that. My cats actually, they're not really my cats. They're my sister's cats, and they hate me. They run away from me, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But they're so cute. Oh my gosh.
You know, it's good we started off this way, so now we can start getting into the other stuff, right? Nice little gentle kitty to bring us into the situation with the Final Fantasy XIV community recently, which it does.
This is our comfort kitty, all right?
Yeah.
This is our comfort kitty. So, chat, if we all start getting worked up, we'll just pet the kitty, all right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't, but yeah.
We can imagine.
I'll try. I'll imagine.
Just as much as you imagine with Yoshida.
Yeah, I have your stole in the back as a body pillow. So
do you want to cuddle your pillow?
I wear short. Okay, so I wear it like, I try to look good above, but I wear shorts, so I'll look silly trying to grab it back there. I don't want to look unprofessional on this very professional show for Frosty.
Sure, yeah.
So
if anyone takes a half a second look at the assets and they start realizing all the inconsistencies and uneven parts of it, they'll probably go insane. And now that I said that, some people may start looking at it.
I know. I'm looking at it too. I'm like, you could use a border here.
Could some border. This is a little bit different size. Guys, I'm trying.
And you've been doing pretty good. You've been doing it for years, so I respect that.
Yeah,
if it works, why fix it?
I do need to touch it up, but we'll see. So the reason we're doing the show today is because the community seems like, in some regards, is on fire over the last few weeks, and it all started around the time the world race happened. I don't know, maybe, there's always going to be some kind of thing going on, some kind of drama, some kind of something, but it seems like it really ramped up recently. Unless if I'm wrong, do you guys feel like I'm wrong on that? Has it always been kind of like a consistent fire, or what?
Here, you take this one, Todd. You've been a long time in the community. I'll answer after.
With I think sometimes it gets a bit more public, but I think the general consensus is that there are groups that just happen to use tools, and I think it's just the more like exposure we've gotten over the world race, and I think we have in recent years, then it's just like more scrutiny there's going to be, and if someone gets caught using something, it's just going to be put out there. So it's probably happened more in the past, more than you think. It's just a bit more on the down low. But now that it's been elevated and we've had, thanks to people like Frosty, right? Just putting a awesome production for World First, and we had a lot of eyes on it. So yeah, I think you're going to see more of that stuff come forward, and just it's just an unfortunate, I guess, side effect. But it's, what can I say, man? It's a little disheartening, but I think you guys handled it really well with the streamer World First. That was cool. I'm really happy that you did that, and so I hope for more sponsorships and stuff down the road.
I do too. Yeah, we have actually the production company in the chat right now, Anadi. Someone put their code in there. So they appreciate you saying that.
You guys did a great job.
Yeah, that was fantastic to be a part of that too.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why it affects me so much too, is because I've been a part of this world race since middle of Heaven's Ward, right? Trying to just have fun with it, do what I do, create spreadsheets, and then it's evolved into what it has, and it's been a crazy journey over the last 8 years, 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And the world race is really in a pretty good spot, and I never consider my part in the world race to be anything more than just having fun with it, tracking some stuff, and then other people like to look at it as well when it's being tracked, and that's about it, right? And then we start putting on these charity events because we wanted to have a stream event. A lot of people wanted to have it. I was like, It
crushed
seemed
it with
impossible.
charity. Absolutely
Yeah,
crushed it.
destroying
Yeah.
it every year. Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
time it was like insane, and I don't
Mhm.
know why in particular it was so insane. It could have been just because of the
pretty good
production.
host. He's a
Yeah.
good host too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. That Todd guy seemed okay. I don't know.
But
You
it's
guys been like, yeah. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no, no. You go.
Yeah, like as the game gets bigger and bigger, like, and I think the Twitch community has gotten huge too with 14. Every time it comes to like rating time, yeah, you guys are getting bigger every time, and you guys are crushing it. And the love for the rating scene is like kind of exploding every time there's like a new event because people want to see prog, people want to see that excitement, that
They
hype,
do.
and you guys deliver on that. So it's no surprise you guys got bigger off that, and I'm really happy and glad for you.
Yeah, yeah, and
Mhm.
I do want to make it clear, and I've made this clear in comments before. The world race is what it is, and the stream that you saw is what it is because of the
Mhm.
overall world race community. It's not just the streaming, and it's not just the people who are showing their point of views. All the offline teams that are working really hard to like clear as fast as they can and everything else. And so all of it's like really close to me. It's all important to me, and I consider a lot of people who have been doing this for a while, and I've been tracking it for a while. I have talked to a lot of them multiple times on MogTalks, like shows like this, right? And I've had many conversations about, the state of the world race, kind of how things are going, and hey, this stuff has actually existed. Tools exist in the game, right? We have lots of different perspectives on this. Most people will say we need to follow exactly what the developers say, which is no add-ons, no anything. No,
Right.
It's completely vanilla, crisp game. Play that and then move forward with it. But for people who play this game a lot, that is almost would be considered an unrealistic request. You wouldn't have any information on the world race at all if there wasn't something out there that would allow that information to help be tracked. I mean, we could say, yeah, every single team 100% has nothing, 100 vanilla blank, and then screenshots on the internet, and that's literally all we could do. I mean, and that's kind of how I've been tracking it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Screenshots and Twitch VODs and things of that
Logs
nature.
too, yeah.
Yeah, well, the logs they exist because of there's another program out there, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad.
And so it's not. And this is like what we would consider people who would like to get into PvP and be, good at it, push themselves. I mean, personally, I don't use anything at all, but that's because that's the way I play, and I'm okay with it, and I'm okay being a gray player, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay not being.
I get that.
A great player. But when you're getting into competitive areas of PvE and the world race and everything, you need to figure out what you're doing and understand it and understand how to do this stuff. And so I don't want to say need. That's probably the wrong word. It helps to know what you're doing, right? And to have information, just literal information about your performance and things like that. And so this is not really considered a bad thing in the raid community at all. No one considers this bad, that raids in Final Fantasy XIV. And it's been existing out there for quite a bit. But it's a box that once you open it up, there are lots of bad stuff out there. There's lots of things that are not good and could be easily perceived as bad. And so this was kind of bubbling. People are getting smarter. People like coders out there are programming, figuring out how to like do this stuff. They just, it's not that difficult to do if you start to understand and analyze the game, and there's not active defenses out there to prevent these things happening. And so that's kind of what led up to where we're at right now. And I guess I always knew it was going to bubble up at some point because I don't care. I'm not the cops. I'm not the police. Right? Square Enix is the police. Square Enix they're the people who make the calls on what is right and what's good, and they issue what is
right.
They feel they need to do. And they did. They made a decision with this recent event, which was, again, with the offline teams and everything else, but they made a decision with it. For me, I just track it because I want to track it. I want to see who's going to clear first. I want to see what information's out there. And I'm not going to dive in there to every single one and witch hunt and criticize these players because I don't feel like that's my role. I don't feel like I should act as some sort of authority in this. I just want to track the race. And so the community response, and this is kind of what this is all leading into, right? Is community response into seeing this stuff. Yeah, you saw that. It opened eyes for a lot of people. But I think a lot of people knew that stuff existed. They didn't know who was using it, what if it was being used, or where to really place it. It was in this weird, nasty kind of area. You just no, we shouldn't use it. That is something that shouldn't be out there because it's breaking a game mechanic, and that's kind of how I always felt as a Final Fantasy XIV player and someone a part of the raiding scene. You should never break game mechanics. You should just not do that. And so. It's just everyone saw that, and rightly so, we're kind of upset. They're like, hey, this was really cool. We saw World First, but immediately afterwards,
and then like Yoshi P's like super disappointed too.
Yeah, disappointed.
And I think
that's the worst. It's like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Final Fantasy XIV community was really sad about too, because Yoshida's like,
it's like, why do we waste our time making this content for you if this is the way you're going to treat it?
Yeah, and he said like, they're designed to be cleared without these things, so what the heck?
Yeah, and we get that, and maybe I should have in the past been more like, hey guys, don't do this stuff. This is bad, and tried to push it into like a way. But I don't know who am I? Right? I'm just some guy that's spending his part-time tracking the world race. I don't feel like it's something I can really do or say. But yeah, they love Yoshida. There's no question that we all like think great things of Yoshida, because in compared to other video games, he's a rock star. Like video game developers, he's a rock star in an industry.
Killing it.
And so we never want to make him upset, and we know what stance he says. But we're at this in between, right?
Yeah.
I feel maybe this is a bad analogy. I come up with analogies all the time, right? Sometimes they're really bad, sometimes they're really good. But it's like your parents telling you don't smoke weed, right? We know, we don't want to disappoint our parents or anything else. But weed is really not the worst thing in the world. It's not that bad. Of something out there, and so you could get arrested for it, right? Where depending on where you live and everything else, it's considered a bad thing in some communities. It's not considered a bad thing in other communities. And by the way, I'm just going to be completely clear: weed is okay, guys. I'm saying that's my stance. I'm not trying to get overly political and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Not trying to get canceled on stream already, right?
Yeah, right. And so that's. If you guys were curious about that, and it's one of those things where I feel like we're getting into this weird area where we don't want to disappoint our parents, but at the same time, we're not. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wording that correctly.
I kind of see where you're coming from. It's like, I guess from the perspective of like Yoshi P and the team, they've made these fights to be like designed to be done without these tools, and there's been a lot of debates. Some of these tools, some of them people are like that's okay to use, and some people are like like there's worse ones out there. But I think bottom line is that the third party tool thing is just like super it's their policy is like just don't use it at all and you won't get in trouble. And I don't know, for me, I kind of come from the perspective of like I don't use those tools because, well, I'm lazy, first of all. But second, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to disappoint UGP and the team. And also, from a content creator perspective, if you get caught using these tools, it's really bad. You get really called out on it. So
it is.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Go ahead.
Several months ago, it was like what Yoshi P, when it was like the live letter, when he just kind of came out and said, like, basically, don't use ACT, because it could be used for,
malicious.
I mean, we know it would. It would. Like, if they had a damage meter in game that was widely accepted, people would put in the party finder description, which wouldn't be read, but like you have to do X amount of damage to join. So like when he made that statement, because I had been using ACT and I had it on my stream, like I mean early on, but since then I'm like, all right, Yoshi P says don't use it. It's not that hard, okay. And then I uninstalled and I just haven't showed it since. So
Yeah.
I mean, other people will do logs and stuff. So I mean, I end up seeing
You know
my
what you're
numbers
doing.
down there.
Yeah.
I know my numbers.
Yeah.
every
They
now and
exist
then, but,
somehow,
and
right?
look, it's on it
Wasn't
like
me.
by itself, it's a good tool to track your own performance.
To get better. Yeah.
And
I
to
agree
get
with that.
better and to see, errors in rotation. Like there's some really good tools out there, XIV analysis, which you use in conjunction with your logs. And it's like you can find out like what you're doing wrong and you can
Mhm.
really fine tune and improve. Because especially if you're in a kind of raid team or something and you're not making a damage check for some reason, it's like you got to
Yeah,
know where you're
helps.
falling short. Like what are we missing in damage? Like what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we saw that with P8S. It's like we knew that Warrior was doing like at 500 damage less than Dark Knight.
Mhm.
Like all just across the board. So that's why you saw all these warriors switch to Dark or to Gunbreaker or something.
Breaker.
So
Yeah.
we knew.
Yeah.
We knew because of those funny numbers, those colored
Yeah.
numbers on the website.
And
Here's
like
go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, from my perspective, like, yeah, like, I totally agree with that. If you're using it for purposes of getting better, like, I totally agree with that, and it helped me get better. Like I said, I don't really use those tools, but I've had other friends and other people who use those tools that I raid with, and they'll tell me, yeah, you're definitely not there. And I play as a black mage main, so as we all know, black mage
Yeah.
is not easy to play at all.
No.
So I don't know why I subject myself to that kind of torture, but hearing advice from other people, and then at a certain point, I was mostly just the MSQ player. I was like, oh, I beat the MSQ. I could do a few extreme trials. This is nothing. But when you go into like Savages and you go into like Ultimates, you start to see like, oh, like you have to start playing your rotations better. You have to actually optimize and do all these things and know your openers.
Mhm.
And I didn't do that stuff beforehand. But now that I kind of see these results and these kind of things from my logs and people who put it up for me, I start seeing where I come up, short, and I start to improve from there. And I've gotten better, I like to say. And before, I didn't materia my gear. Sorry, Todd. I didn't like food or anything. But those small things add up so much when it comes to actually coming up
does.
with those damage checks. Those are really important. And even though I like to think all three of us come off as that, like, as long as you use it for good, that's like the baseline. We're okay with that.
Mhm.
But there are
Mhm.
some people who are like vehemently, they hate it, like just period. They don't want it in their game at all, and it's just there's a lot of sides to this whole thing. People just don't
There
want
is.
these tools. Period. Like you, I agree. Like if you use it for good, I could see it, but it can be used for bad. And there's just people who just
100%.
hate the tools like
So-
at all. They don't want it.
I think a lot of this issue comes from targeting the wrong thing. I don't think a DPS meter is the issue. It's the behavior, and
Mhm.
there's tools to moderate people with behavior on Square Enix's side too, right? And they've done it, and they
Yeah.
do it, right? So if someone is being harassed, if they're harassing, they just say, "Hey, you can't do this. You can't limit your parties. You can't put in stuff in Party Finder like this. You can't do this." Okay, great. Then you can have some level of moderation. People love to report stuff. So I'm pretty sure that you could easily like get that enforced and put something
Right.
out there.
Right.
Man, they don't even have to put in like a in-game parser if they don't want to.
Mhm.
But if they put out like an official, here's our log, you are able to access this log, whatever, right?
Well, in a way, you can
There-
log it, right? It's in the chat log. You got to press the number. You got to like
Well,
turn in the
could.
settings. Yeah,
An
but no.
official support it. Just here is
Yeah,
a log, and this is the data we're willing to give you and willing to let you do whatever you want. This
Do
is
whatever you
data.
want,
This is
yeah.
information for you. Don't add in things that overlay the game. Don't add in things that do other stuff inside the game. But that information can be parsed for however, right? I mean, like, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
like a horrible thing, but you guys can tell me.
Actually, on that subject, if you guys are we allowed to talk about spoilers or anything, or like I guess
Yeah, you guys, you
Yeah.
better have like caught up on this.
Yeah, you better caught up, guys, in the
it's fine.
chat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the newest dungeon, actually, one of the bosses, they actually parse your damage or something. They
They
track to
do.
see how well you've done, and they tell you at the end of the fight, you did. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, like
Mhm.
you did this well. So in a way, they've kind of implemented some kind of weird, like
Goth boss. yeah.
toxic goth boss. Yeah. In a way, they kind of implemented that, and it's interesting that people are kind of okay with that. But I don't know. But when it comes to an official, like, oh, like you can actually see your numbers and stuff, like people don't want that. But when a funny boss is telling you, hey, you're not doing so well, people are like, oh well. I don't know. you noticed that too, Todd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's my little input. They actually kind of put some kind of weird tracking in there, but
I keep my mouth shut
yeah.
if I do an expert roulette. It's just not the place. It's like you're gonna find people. Well, they may or may not be a mentor, but you get some people that just they play a certain way and they don't want to hear otherwise.
Yeah.
Even if you know they're like not pressing certain buttons, you're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
no.
I mean, and by the way, this information is always out there. It's like
Yeah.
not having it in the game and not making it available, like officially, doesn't mean that information doesn't exist. So the people who are going to be toxic have the information, and they're going to still do whatever they want to do. But
Yeah.
we have this rule where you can't harass people over this stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you need. All right.
Yeah, and a lot of it actually happens behind closed doors too. Like, a lot of people would probably take logs and just make fun of you behind your back. And I've had that happen a billion times to me, actually. And I once called out somebody on Twitter for doing that. But at the end of the day, like, it just comes down to, like, as long as you're happy with your play, I think that's what matters the most. Like, you shouldn't care too much about what somebody says about you. And then, unless you want to get better, then, like, shouldn't matter too much to you. That's my take on the whole thing. Shouldn't worry about it. But if it does bother you to the point where you are actually, like, getting harassed, then, yeah, report that immediately.
Just, you got to report it, and it sucks because there's just shitty people online too.
Oh, yeah.
And
Always.
I mean, we always say that we have a great community, which we do have a good community overall. We have a good community, even with all this crap that's happened recently.
So much crap.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to have people who are going to play games because they want to play a game, and they may not be a model citizen. That's just how it is. And so
I'll take our community over, like females getting yelled at for playing Valorant, definitely, because there's some really bad clips out there. So
yeah,
we're not the worst, I would say.
No, not at all. And so I'm just, when we get into this whole argument about add-ons and how the community kind of responds to it, I feel like people can be very overcritical for very almost no reason at all. Now, when we get into things that like
depends on which add-on it is.
Well, no,
yeah,
that's the other part, right? And so some people are just like, no, nothing at all. So there has to be a baseline where we can say, okay, we can accept this. Yeah, go ahead.
We say nothing, but there's stuff going on. Like you'll just never know for sure, 100%. But people are probably using stuff.
But yeah, and then it's like, well, we need to know what's okay and what's not. You can never say that. Square Enix is never going to be able to say that, right?
Well, all right. So the other thing is we've actually had some features put into the game because of add-ons.
Yeah.
But I think the latest one is just seeing the debuff timers. Like, that's great. Yeah. That's great. I can actually see, oh, all right, that's so like perfect example, P8S, high concept. I can see how much time is left on like your Greek letters and stuff for high concept. I can know like where you need to go. Like I can look at Frosty, like, all right, hey, go to this corner and then this one. Like
you don't have to tell me where to go.
I know it's great information to have. Yeah, I could.
It is.
I could tell you, or I could just let you figure it out.
Yeah,
I think it is annoying that it took so long to add that. That's like something that people wanted it for so long, but it just had to take a few players to kind of get punished for using it to finally get it added. So,
or the fact that well, go ahead. Well, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say the other thing was the P7S whole marker situation. Like, how did they get the markers for per nation? So then they expanded the arena once you clear it, so you can place markers and then save them. So it makes it better.
Yeah. So there is like I think that's kind of where our line lives, right? Is what are acceptable quality of life things that we believe should exist in the game, and is actually just making things okay, versus breaking into the game mechanics. And I feel like that's kind of where my line has always been, and I've always kind of accepted that. There's visual point of views that are implemented for a reason, although there's ways to fix that too by, in development terms, being able to cloud outside the arena and such on, so you can disable. Right. There's things to be done that there is some level that we need to put on at least Square Enix to implement stuff to battle this stuff.
Right.
If they don't want stuff in there, I feel like there is some level of responsibility for them to do that. And it's hard for me to say that because I love Square Enix and they do we want to say no harm, no anything. But in my terms, I think, it's best realize that exists. How do you stop people from doing it? Because people are going to do it.
Right.
They're just going to do it. You can't stop it. Unless if you
and their policy.
do it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, their policy is just like, we can't detect it on your side, it's client side. So as long as you don't show it off and talk about it, then we can't do anything about it. And it gets in that period. It gets in that period into that whole thing about how as long as people keep using these tools, sometimes people get used to it too much, and then they get punished for that. Having that line is kind of hard to kind of know what is right and what's wrong. And I want to say something to you guys. I've played other MMOs. I've played RuneScape, and there's a lot of plugins for that. And even though there's a lot of plugins you can use that are okay, they still definitely have some tools where even some creators I've watched, they're like, you can use this plugin, but just make sure we don't know it's legal or not. Plugins are such a you never really know, and I don't know how they operate things on their side and how other games do it. But they have a moderating team for plugins, but I feel like, I don't know, if they have the resources, maybe it'd be kind of okay to kind of look into that kind of thing to see, maybe have some kind of team who can see what plugins are okay, which are not okay. I'm just used to playing other games where, that can be something that some games are okay with using some certain plugins. But I don't know, do you guys think there ever be a point at which plugins would be okay, or do you think they're just leave it in this weird gray area?
I don't think they're ever going to be able to.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
As long as it's cross-platform, when you have PlayStation and stuff
that's true.
They're not going to allow that across the board. I don't think. I mean, people are going to use whatever they want to use, and I think some are, I guess, less offensive than others.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never going to get the green light from the developers.
Yeah.
Because then they're just trusting whoever makes the plugin, right?
That's true.
They might take ideas from them and implement them in patches, officially. But it's not going to be you can use this plugin. They'll just take what I've just said, the whole timers and stuff. Hopefully there's maybe some quality of life things they can add to the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of cool.
And so I think that's kind of where we're at, and that's kind of my take on it too. And I do think, again, that I don't think we should be able to zoom out really far. I don't think that we should be able to implement graphics everywhere. Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't think that was too bad of a thing to see. Because having played WoW, the arenas get so big, and it's actually quite nice to see all around you. And our bosses in our arenas are getting really big and obnoxious too. And how many times have you panned around and the boss is just the size of the room, and you still can't click on it because you're like why can't I target this thing? And it's So I didn't think. I mean, it's an add-on. You shouldn't use it, but I was like, okay, they can zoom out some.
Yeah. The main reason, and that's why I would consider it almost a game mechanic at that point, because it's it's a level of, hey, we only want you to be able to see this amount of stuff on the arena. And so then you add in ultra wide, which gives you almost all the information you would need anyways.
Yes, that's the other thing. Ultra wide, you can see a lot more.
And you can't get. I don't think you can get it on console. Maybe you can get ultra wide on console. I don't know.
Just get a really big TV.
Yeah, really big TV. Yeah.
And so it makes it the issue that happened there is that these players used it, and it was so obviously not intended in the game, and so obvious that hey, they're using something that open up that whole thought process of everything. This is bad. This is bad. It just the timing of it and everything else. That team got the amount of information they were able to get from that is literally nothing compared to how good they were as players and how they were able to accomplish what they're doing. Because I've talked to these players before when they were in the previous world race, right? And so
they're great players and everything. It's just I don't think the whole Zoom thing really changed the way they played the game.
Yeah.
No,
they might have given them a better perspective of things, so you could see maybe draw some diagrams a little bit better, I guess. But they would have figured that out.
Yeah. Outside of a few really egregious things, most of the stuff is minor, just bits of information and things to be very competitive. Again, we're not saying that I can't give you a definition of everything that is okay and everything that's not okay. And that's not even my job to do that. But that was so minor in just the grand scheme of things. The community reaction to that team was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgusting. I
Yeah.
think people go way overboard with their reaction to that. It's like, all right, come on now. Like,
yeah.
I think
some of them might have deleted their characters or something. Was that a thing?
Yeah, some of the JP players deleted their characters.
And it was,
I hate that for them. I really do.
the thing is, like, it was so immediate reactions, like, holy crap, this is funny. Let's make a joke out of it, meme. But people took it so far. I mean, I'm okay with the community making a joke. Yeah, everybody did.
But
yeah, there's definitely some people who took it too far. I think that's where it draws the line.
When you start attacking the actual players, like, just,
and making characters and just harassing them in game, and to the point.
That's so messed up.
Yeah,
I'm getting harassed in game too.
You gotta be better than that.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I didn't know that. I know it was like added side of the game on Twitter, but like, wow.
I forget what his name. Maybe you guys chat will know what his name, but some of you guys, where everyone makes the big bald characters and they go and they just all surround the person and they make names that are relevant to what they want to harass the person for.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
What?
I've seen that. Yeah, no,
I've
seen that.
It's a shame.
And so they did that, and they've done stuff where it's almost, and maybe this is a rumor, maybe I don't really know. Like, it's affecting their real life stuff. Maybe they're even real life jobs and stuff. Like, it was pushed far. And so I don't know. And again, like, we know Yoshida was disappointed about it. We know a lot of different things in that situation, but it was not so much that we needed to burn these guys at the stake.
No.
And so
I don't think so.
And I'm really sad.
They're good players, and I would want to see them come back and do more rating.
In the end of the day, we are playing a video game.
Yeah.
It's really important to remember that. And, they weren't even competing for anything. They weren't part of the race that we were doing. We had rules in there to try to, like, limit this kind of stuff because we knew we don't have that high amount of visibility. And so they were just doing it to compete. And in the end of the day, they could say they were world first. No money, no anything. They could just say that. It's a claim. And now half of them have deleted their characters. People who weren't even in the group that might have been associated with them deleted their character. It is an overreaction by all means.
Do you even? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. That's fine.
Do you even think that maybe Square went too far because they ended up stripping them of their rewards?
No, I don't think Square Enix did.
I think their
fair.
was forced. I think they had to make a statement.
Yeah.
They just had to do it, man.
Okay.
Yeah. No, someone is doing something that they said not to do in their game, and there's obvious evidence of it, and they should ban them, take away their rewards. That is legitimately within their terms of service and everything. They made the right call.
Right.
And if that situation happened again, that should happen again. But people shouldn't personally attack, harass, and do all this stuff.
Make better use of your time.
People were doing death threats to teams that were offline. Yeah. And this is insane. Whoa. These guys, just because they don't show their progress, they were getting death threats. And this is where it
don't even raid. They're just
yeah. And so I think that, like, whatever is going on with that stuff, we just have to take a second and gain some proper perspective that these are people online playing a game that they're really excited to raid in, and all of the world raiders, while there could be tools, there could be stuff that we're not seeing, they legitimately just want to beat the fight and figure it out and figure out the puzzle and do the content. They don't want to like hack and like immediately delete the boss and press a button that they win, and kill the boss, get the rewards. That's not the people who are competing right now. They're competing to see if they can get to the end of the fight faster than the other teams can, using their brains and what they have, like their skills as a raider and. All this extra little bits, like the zooming out stuff, that could probably give you a little bit extra information, but they 100%, none of those raiders, if these tools existed, like never existed, and they were impossible to use, they would be ecstatic. Because they don't want this stuff either, right? But when they get really competitive and they get to this very high level, and that competition drives it, and I'm not saying that's like an excuse, but I am saying that it's like part of what lots of, like, if you go and however people can be competitive that they feel is at least accepted by the other people they're being competitive with, they will probably do that. And that's the same thing with sports. That's the same thing with everything, right? Like
Yeah.
even getting, I don't know. I'm not a good sports person to talk about. I was gonna say even getting new shoes, right, or doing this new workout routine. I don't know. But you see this stuff, and then you have like organizations that help try to regulate all this stuff and everything else. But Final Fantasy doesn't have that, guys. I'm not that.
Not yet.
No,
You could be.
Yes, I will take all the players in, and I will make them do like. I would have to go and they have to bring their laptops to me, their desktops, and I'll scan through all of it, before the event.
Yeah, I mean that's like, I mean, the logistics would be kind of a nightmare, but maybe
yeah.
you have like the world race where they have like, I don't know, certain centers rented out and they have official hardware that they can use. You come in with your teams that register.
With my $500,000 to do
play.
that, I will...
Esports, wow.
Yeah, like basically esports. Yeah, like
Yeah.
regulated. Here's the hardware. You got to use this computer, and then go team. Go ahead.
Go team.
Good luck.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it was upsetting for me to see because mostly because I was just so close to a lot of these different players out there.
Yeah,
And then people were go ahead.
I think the worst one I saw was the Splatoon one.
That's
really
egregious.
didn't like
Yeah.
one. That one's the worst. It's like, I mean, like when it shows like the AoEs in real times, you can just like step out of them. Like it just projects everything on the arena. Like,
and that's breaking game mechanics.
It's like, why even play the game at that level?
Yeah. That's when I say that's way too far. Like the Zoom one, it's minor.
Really
like, and now we get into talk of like minor and like major type tools out there, and it's messy.
And the thing is, like some of these tools, like that one in particular that you're talking about, isn't something that you're like, oh well, I turn on and it's working. It takes a lot of work after the content comes out to program it to work in that way. From my understanding, I know what people are telling me. Maybe somebody could tell me I'm wrong, but this stuff takes work to put in there. And that really shouldn't be used. But then again, I've seen people weaponize just people who are in groups with other people against them, right? And say, oh, well, you're near this person, so you're a horrible person.
Yeah.
And that's
some people they don't know. They don't know someone on their team is using something. They have no idea.
Yeah, and ultimately, just like the team said, we just don't know unless they're streaming or they have some kind of evidence of doing that. So you never know.
Not even streaming, but I mean, like streaming is the closest that we can get.
Yeah.
And it's the most we can do with just adding some sort of level of verification into it.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not gonna say that it is impossible to like have two different feeds, right? So
yeah.
But you can definitely tell by the interactions and different things and conversations and stuff, and that helps out, and that's why streaming does help. But I mean, it's not a fix-all, and we'll never have a fix-all unless if we have some sort of someone programming stuff to put on people's computers, which could end up being malicious in its own right. So it's tough. It's a very difficult situation. I think that I hope that the community starts to realize that, again, we're playing a game, we're all trying, and everybody just wants to play on a fair ground too. All right, they want to be on the same level and everything else with everyone.
Yeah.
And we just, I don't know. I said this once before, but just don't try to like weaponize drama against people and try to ruin. Like, there's people who their life depends on stuff like in this community.
Right.
So we need to like try to be a little bit more level-headed about how we respond to these different things.
I mean, that's I know it's my livelihood, so like I stay very far away from add-ons. I'm like, nope.
I mean, then I do too, right? And so I'm like, well, I want to be where I'm at right now. I don't need it per se, because I can still play the game and enjoy it, but some people can't play the game and enjoy it as much. Go ahead.
So someone thought I was using auto markers when I was doing uwu. But it was just a macro. It's a self-marking macro that puts like a 2 or something above your head. They're like, why'd you do that so fast? I'm like,
macros.
I clicked a macro in the game. Calm down. Like they were ready to like get the pitchforks out. I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, nope, no. I mark myself. It's the old trusty way. Just self-marking.
Yeah. People. Yeah. Again, witch hunting, right? And
They,
that's why
they
I
do.
never got into it.
After this crap happened, they come to like they came to my stream. They came to other people's streams, and they're just looking for something to like.
Did they
Report you
clip
on.
it and everything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, what are you using add-ons here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, there are situations where people try to because of where the servers are and everything else, like the OG CDs and everything else. They are like, I can't play the game if I can't have a decent stable connection where it's responding correctly to my things. And so we get into that whole level too. And so a lot of people do stuff just to be on the same level or in it like an even environment. Because if you're a world racer, you might as well move to LA or if you're anywhere in Japan, I'm sure you're fine. And or somewhere. Or where is it in EU again? It's in London. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Frankfurt.
I think the HQ's
Frankfurt.
there.
I think Frankfurt.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Frankfurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said Sacramento. Maybe Sacramento.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong, but someone could tell me. Oh, I have to go to France. It's not in Frankfurt anymore. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But I mean, like, it's just a weird situation to be in, and I do hope that like there is something that can be done on the Square Enix side, either just to battle it whatever way they need to. If they want to put in resources, it's kind of on them to do it. We can't do anything else. I could do my best. I'm going to continue always doing what I'm doing right now, right?
Right.
I'm always going to try to do the world race and try to track it as best as I can and put on these events because that's so much fun. That event was so great. That was the best event that we've done so far.
So much fun, man.
Yeah, and it felt
so fun. I was there too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It felt weird ending that because it was like a whole week just dedicated every day, wake up, and then like injury day, kind of seeing where things are, and just like for me, I was so embedded in it, and then it just to suddenly end. It was such a horrible feeling to go back to my day job literally the next day and be like, I don't want to live anymore.
When's the next thing? It's Savage, right? So it won't be for a bit.
It's just going to be like that long either.
It's not the yeah, I know that's the sad part. It could end in a day even.
It'll be like 24 to 48 hours is kind of what it would look like. And so yeah, it was the next Ultimate's probably somewhere in the next 2 years,
year
and a half to 2 years. Too. Yeah, but we'll have 2 Savages between then, and maybe we could do more events too. Like it would be cool to do PvP stuff at some point and start getting some sort of PvP event going. But it takes a little bit of work to get that going too. A lot of structure to it.
Yeah.
But it was such a good note to end on when we did end on that stream though, and then had all the fallout kind of afterwards. And I hope that we're in a better situation. The great thing used to be about Savage, and this is why I actually like Savage being released on the same day as patch, is because everything is broken and no one can just say shit, right? Any of these extra things are all broken usually on that first day. Ultimate's a different story because it lasts for so long, but Savage, if all that stuff's broken the day it comes out, then it doesn't even matter.
Right.
So we don't even have to have these stupid conversations about it. Not stupid, but I guess like having to worry about it as much. But now with a week in there, I mean, it gives everybody all these like programmers that exist out in the world, and they just like to have fun with the stuff to do whatever they do. And so I do hope that that's figured out somehow. Again, this is all within the SE side, and we'll see. We'll see how all this stuff pans out in the future. But that's the main reason I wanted to bring it up on this show, is because there's such a big deal in the community. It was a huge deal, and no one really realized at the time what was happening, but it exploded probably a lot further than it should have. And then, I think, what was it, the week after? We get into a whole nother add-on ordeal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure did.
Like, and this is why Square Enix can't be involved with this stuff. Because they don't have control over the programming of it. That's not in their scope of control. And then it's funny. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but it's a thought that comes to my head that all these people who are so upset about the World Racers, got involved in a situation to where their G shade wasn't working anymore. And then,
Oh yeah, a lot of them use it. Hey, if you want to have your vanilla clean installation, hey, that's one of them. Can't use it.
yeah. And
but it's okay though. But whatever.
yeah.
It's an Instagram filter. It's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, when you get into holy, I'm okay with the way the game looks right now. I haven't had. It's like having standard television and not going to HD, I guess. And you're just like, I'm okay, because I've never gone to HD. It's not going to be a big deal to me, I guess. I don't really know.
But it looks so nicer though with the HD. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really crisp and like the colors are better. Honestly, and a lot of people are not gonna wait for that update too, because I think it's 7.0. They're saying that they're gonna like do like a whole graphical update thing. So I think for now, it's kind of funny because like even though that's like some people consider that third party and like people don't like you can't use that. But we have things like I think NVIDIA shaders is a thing. I haven't used it, but I heard that's perfectly okay to use. Is that something you guys are familiar with?
I haven't messed with that at all.
So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it, but like I've never used G-Shade. I've never used any of that stuff. It looks too complicated to me. I have to put in numbers and values.
Some neat effects you can do.
Yeah. And I think that like it was just it gave everyone a realization that like again the scary part about third party is always the people who make it and not really having control over it. And that when you get into some of these other programs, they're pretty stable. Like no, there's no question usually on it. But there's always, again, I have a degree in cybersecurity. You guys might not know that, but I do. And so
that's impressive.
I'm very cautious when it comes to like other programs out there, especially when they're not able to be openly criticized. There is validity in like doing closed source stuff, and they're not automatically like, hey, it's a bad program. Even open source stuff, you have to have people who go in there and criticize the code, and they have to analyze all the stuff and everything. So it's not a foolproof thing. When you're big enough, it kind of becomes sort of like that because people are a little bit more, hardcore about it. But in this state and situation, you're literally, I mean, it's almost like Discord bots, right? You're trusting the people who make that stuff. Discord bots read everything that happens in your Discord. I don't know if you guys remember that in the past. That came up as a big deal too a long time ago. But a lot of this stuff, we're trusting the developers with your stuff, your information, and everything. And I'd rather just say screw it. I don't even want to think about it because it just makes my life easier.
To not just use it at all, right?
Yeah, just not to use it at all. I mean, Twitch bots, sure, into like you have to like approve they can do certain functions and everything else. But when you get into like Discord bots and you have like these private channels, if you have like someone who wants to like maliciously use that information, they could.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I'm not too versed in like I guess like these tools, but a lot of people are telling me that for the longest time, a lot of these tools that you would get from like GitHub for like using that have been used for a long time, such as like G-Shade and all that. I guess most, if not all, these tools want some kind of administrative like level of privilege when it comes to installation. And when it came to the whole like G-Shade incident, people are like, "Well, it was always there. Like, that's your fault." So, is that something that's true with all programs? Like, typically when you install it, there's like some kind of level of like they want administrative privileges for it to work.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna do anything like serious, a lot do, right? Because you get a lot of blocks from not being an admin on a computer.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that these guys, G-Shade, they just lost a lot of trust with the community. And I think that's big because I think even though a lot of people kind of either disregard it or just didn't think about it, I think trust is the biggest thing that they lost with their
silly reaction to like just basically put in malware.
Yeah, exactly.
That would literally disrupt like the definition of malware. Like your computer just restarted. Like,
right.
Then they went nuclear and just deleted everything.
Yeah, they deleted everything. I'm pretty sure. Like it's not even accessible anymore. That's insane.
No. Yeah,
it's gone.
And that's crazy. I mean, it was such a big like I guess asset to a lot of players. So it just disappears.
Yeah.
Week, right.
I think because this one's more casual, so like a lot of people are using this one. You know, they're not everyone's a raider, or not everyone's like doing hardcore content. So a lot of people just like having the game looking better. And the second, you know, this tool that has been like used by a lot of people, trusted, is suddenly now can be used against us in any way. Yeah, that can go out the window. That trust like is all gone instantly, and you know, that's their fault. And they tried to go back on it. They tried to apologize, but I think at that point it was just way too late.
Well, I mean, like, not only them, but everybody calls into question all the other programs too, right? Or they start calling it, and that's kind of what happened with the World Race. One thing happened, they start questioning everybody.
You needed a science degree or something, like just uninstall G-Shade.
G-Shade.
Like, like a doctorate. You're like
to figure out
like,
how to get it out.
There was no easy way to uninstall it too.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not like add remove program. It was like you had to like scrub certain directories and files and stuff.
That's pretty infectious.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need an expert knowledge on this now, because oh my god.
I mean, you just have to have a proper uninstaller with your program. It sounds like they never made one.
No.
I guess they didn't, yeah. Or I think they did, but like it had some weird hoops and hurdles around that too, so like it's not work. No.
Well, I mean, like when you make it an uninstaller, it's supposed to clean up all the different parts of your program. If it doesn't, then you probably didn't care about people ever not wanting to use your stuff. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's because it's like, I guess for a lot of people, even me, because I had G-Shade for a bit, like it just so many people used it, so it's like, yeah, I guess it's okay to use, you know. So I think the public opinion is kind of like swayed me. I was like, yeah, it's trusted, but definitely everyone needs to do their due diligence and like, you know, make sure that what you're downloading cannot turn off your computer at any point or be taken for any other malicious acts. So it opened our eyes a lot. And I think now, because of that happening, a lot of people are now in this point of like, well, that's what Square Enix didn't want, and that's why all third-party tools should be banned, period. So yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty now with that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like that whole mess was like, wow, that was crazy. The whole entire community, I think it wasn't even just G-Shade, but there's another community behind it, G-Pose. Are you guys familiar with that? G-Posers?
I see the hashtag, but
oh yeah.
It's like, I guess it's like some kind of like internet magazine thing. They lost a lot of like respect off that too. So yeah, that's just like another drama that came off right after. And I don't know if you guys know the whole situation, but like the reason why it happens because somebody made a tool that the developer of G-Shade didn't approve of, and that's why he did everything he did to be like to spite them. And
right.
Like, oh,
yeah, I remember that part.
And if he just didn't do that, things would have been okay. But here we are now. They just lost all love from the community, and I think it was formally endorsed by the 14 Reddit. Now they're like, yeah, no, we don't have that anymore. So yeah,
it's scary it's scary to endorse people, man, and endorse.
Yeah, it is.
Things, right?
Okay. All right, wife, get in here. It's your turn.
He's having night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I know
that's good.
that.
Mrs. Llama. But yeah, I was just thinking about it. It was funny to me that it came up right afterwards.
Yeah.
And it just calls into the question of the whole like add-on overall for the community, and you know what we should really treat it as. And I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect situation because people love this game so much, and they are all for making it better. They are all for trying to make their experience a little bit better, a little bit like just diving in even more. It's so I can't like imagine that this stuff's ever going to go away. We just need some sort of response because it sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. It sucks to feel like this Square Enix's stance in this way. It's just all or nothing. We'll do nothing to change anything, and then we're left in the community in this hopeless little like area. Like, okay, well, we can't, but there's nothing enforcing it, and so there's going to be so much stuff that's going to happen, and it's a very awkward position to be in.
It's funny because like people now are like, "Oh my god, we have so much drama." I'm like, "Well, once they address something, we're gonna see this stuff happen again. Maybe Savage
Right.
Time, or in between now, there might be some random drama that happens with like tools again." So it's just we'll just keep coming in waves, and we'll just have to keep seeing this problem again and again. And we'll never be drama free, I guess is what I'm trying to
Never be
say.
drama free. Yeah, and man, it is. I don't know. It's been rough. In general, with just whatever drama's out there recently, because we have.
Mhm.
I do a show where I bring people on and I talk to them, and lots of
Oh,
people. I've had over somewhere in 200, 250 different people come on the show. All right.
mhm.
Uh, and there is not. It is so weird to see different content creators going at it against each other. Are different people like attacking each other in some way or shape or form? Because again,
Yeah.
they're all my friends, and so
Yeah.
I
It gets a
try.
little awk. Yeah.
Mhm.
I try to keep like a pretty healthy perspective. Sorry, my cord just got stuck
No, you're
between my thing.
good.
Hold on, I can
I
get
thought
it.
you were wireless the whole time too. I was like,
Like,
"Whoa!"
no, it's like it's okay. I just won't move my head too much. I was trying this new setup and it didn't work as well.
Yeah.
But like, it is weird, and not again, like chat's right here. Not everybody's going to get along. There's differences out
Yeah.
there and differences of opinions and everything.
Yeah.
And so it is, and I try to be like open minded about literally everything that's out there in the community, and try to have a full understanding of things. It bites me in the ass every once in a while, but I try to like just think about the different perspectives that are out there. And so
I think
go ahead.
what's actually really funny is that if you guys are familiar, obviously I think everyone is. Asmongold actually just put a video about like how to deal with online harassment, and like I think
Oh,
really
did
good
he?
video if you want to like yeah it was basically about like just don't care about that stuff. You can just like walk away from it sometimes. And shout out to Crystal, she sent me that video by the way.
Oh yeah.
But for me, I sometimes I put as you most people know, I'm like a very memey guy on Twitter, so some things I say might fall on deaf's ear, and people might be like, "Oh, how dare you!" Like one of my favorite things to do is like I like to dunk on Stormblood story. I like Stormblood, but the popular opinion is that Stormblood was not good, and I obviously kind of just roll with the majority opinion when it comes to stuff. And for Twitter engagement, I try to like oh, it's Stormblood bad, but sometimes if I make a meme, I see a lot of quote retweets. Oh, this guy's making fun of Stormblood again, or here's an
Right.
infamous one I like to do is like
Gotta
as you
have
guys know.
some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have some thick skin as a content
Yeah,
creator.
exactly. And like, one that I like to do often is like, so as you guys know, Yoshida, if you follow the story, like she has kind of a love interest. And I'm not talking about me, but it's what's his name, Runar.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hate Runar. I think he's a fine character. But
Okay.
as per my online character, I do this thing where I hate Runar because I go in competition with him.
Mm-hmm.
And for Yoshida's love, but obviously a lot of people get behind that and they're like, "Oh my god, like this guy is hating on such a lovable character. Screw him!" And I'm like, "This is a joke." But what I do is I just let him talk. Drama llama, exactly. I just realized you're wearing that shirt for this. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just a lot of people like when they get that kind of attention, they just like fold. But for me, and I think for advice for a lot of people on the internet, just just ignore it sometimes. That's the best thing you could do. And if you start calling attention to it, that's when it gets more drama and it gets way more crazier. And I think that's when it gets worse. So that's your tip on avoiding drama. Just try not to care about it too much.
Yeah.
But I do kind of see where you're coming from, Frosty, with the whole like when you're in the middle of everybody, you don't want to like step on anyone's toes, especially when you're trying to like be friends with everybody and everything. I've seen a lot of my mutuals they would put takes out, and I'm just like sitting in the back, like, no, don't, no. And then sometimes they draw attention by talking about it even further. I'm like, oh no, stop, don't do it. And it's just, I think a minor drama that happened recently was the tanking drama. You guys remember this one?
No.
No, Todd.
Tanking. Which one?
It's the if you pull as a DPS, people will let you die because you're not supposed to pull.
dude,
It's been in the community forever.
That gets
That's
recycled
Yeah.
so many times, man.
We have
Like,
so many recycled ones. That one came back just
that
recently
one,
too.
it's like I think every 5 or 6 months, like someone makes a post with that. It's like it's time to rehash this thing, and it just. I'm telling you, like the most toxic people I've encountered in this game have been in my roulettes, my expert and trial. Like certain people that queue up for that, they get so mad if you don't
Right.
play their way. And even though you think, oh, this is fine. I mean, yeah, there's arguments on the other side, but it's like, if I know who I'm like rolling with for expert and I'm on DPS, I'm on ninja. I teleport ahead. I use shade shift. I use arm's length, bloodbath, second wind. I pull it back, and I've got a whole bunch of enemies that are now slowed. And I've pulled for the tank, who probably, if your group is pressing buttons enough, your tank's not going to have sprint ready for the next pack. So that's you don't need any tools to understand, like, if your group is doing enough damage. Between the first and second pack, if your sprint isn't ready, then you're doing enough damage. If it is ready between the first and second pack, you're probably not pressing enough buttons. So I can understand a DPS running ahead, like, all right, let me help this situation. Yeah,
I feel like I struck a nerve with that one. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it did, because like I get because I do multiple roles when I do roulettes. It's just like for fun. So I see all sorts of things, and I don't really say anything to anyone. There have been a few cases where I was biting my tongue. I'm like, I gotta save something. There was one tank I was healing, wasn't using cooldowns, and it was like pulling wall to wall. I mean, I kept them alive for the most part, but at one point I'm like, my guy, can you use reprisal and can you use arm's length? Can you please use those two? He never used it. He was using his 30%, 20% in personals and stuff, but he wasn't using reprisal, arm's length, and he goes, I'm saving arm's length for knockbacks. I'm like,
oh my god.
There's nothing in this dungeon that will kill you from knockback. Like, you're fine. It's gonna be back up, and it's like, well, it's not a defensive cooldown. I'm like,
they don't read. They don't read.
Read the tooltip. You have 10 enemies hitting you, and now they're all getting slowed. They're now hitting you less frequent.
Yeah. People don't realize that, right? And so there's some level of just like, ignorance is maybe the best word that I could use on skill set and things that you can do with your abilities. And people don't like being told they're wrong. It's just part of it.
It's toxic as fuck to not like perform your role and to not just hit one AoE button or to heal someone. It's like, well, I'm going to teach them a lesson. I'm like, no, you're fucking stupid and you're toxic. Like, stop it.
So I've been tanking all roulettes. I mean, before, right? That was kind of what I was doing, but I switched over to healer, and I've been healing all of them. And roulettes are the easiest thing in the entire game. They are so simple. I barely have to think, but every once in a while, someone messes up, and you're like, "Oh, I gotta think, that mother effer! I can't believe they're making me think and do like an extra couple of actions."
I laugh. I think it's funny when people die. I just crack up. I love it. But it might be devastating for them, and like their whole psyche, everything's ruined. But I'm like, see you, nerd.
Yeah, you've been through it all. You've done all the ultimates at this point. You're like, no, this is nothing.
Someone died, like some AoE, like there's like it's telegraphed. I'm like, you're really gonna stand there, okay? And if I got people in my community, oh my god, it's PvP mode. If I'm tanking, oh man, they're getting a tank buster. What am I? All right. But even things like if I just do roulettes with people I don't even know, I know that there's a lot of tank busters that don't cleave. The majority of them do not cleave. There's there's one in the new dungeon that does. Like Kanyazo, right? That's gonna, you can bait it and it can kill someone. Right. That's the laser one. But a lot of the busters that the spiral, black and white or black and red, I like to just run into the group. I know it's not going to hurt them, but I like to just go, whoa.
You're scaring me. I never want to play with you.
They back away. But then they realize it doesn't hurt them. They're like, oh, LOL.
Yeah. No,
it freaks them out. It's good fun.
I've seen all kinds of different ways that people react in Party Finder. I've said stuff like, when I went into, there was a long time ago, maybe a couple years ago, I was going as a tank, and I didn't have stance on when I went in, and I said stance, and I'm like, oh, I don't use that. Just as a joke, all right? And they left the dungeon. I'm just like, all right. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely toxic.
There is some level of sensitivity that we'll never be able to completely dance around. But the way that I've always treated it is I just go with the flow. And whatever the party's doing, I try to just go with them and work with them, because I don't want to have a conversation or think or do anything. I'll just make it through. I'm not going to criticize them. I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, no.
I'm just going to be a whatever this is. Be a part of whatever this is for the next 20-30 minutes.
Well, I've had a few. It's very rare, but like I saw like this. It was like a year ago or so. It was like a ninja that was not using trick attack. Right? They weren't using sweet taunt. They're just spamming Doton like over and over, like on single target. And at the end of, I just waited. I went to the end of the dungeon. I'm like, hey man, I'm a ninja main. Like, do you want any help? And this guy said, yeah, sure, that'd be great. So like, I actually walked him through. I had to do like opener and basic rotation and stuff. But I've done the same thing to other people. Like when I feel compelled to say something, I'm like, man, they're just not. They're not really. I know that they're missing some stuff like on their hotbars. Yeah. It's like, let me talk to them at the end of the dungeon, so they're not all been out of shape. I'm like, hey man, do you want some advice? I happen to play, yada yada, and most of the time they're like, no, I'm good.
No. Okay, that's not too bad. I was expecting something worse because the second you offer somebody advice, they're like,
I try to phrase it where like it gives them an out. Like, hey man, would you like some advice? I'm not going to be like, now if you go in there, because even if you're like well intentioned, you just have to type it out what you're gonna say and then read it in a sarcastic nasally voice. It's like, excuse me, Tank, you should be using arm's length. And then even though you're like meant it well, you're like, hey, man, I think you should use arm length. It's a great cooldown. Is it on your hotbar? I don't know.
I think that go ahead, Prosty.
No, go.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that like honestly, like it depends on who you're running into, but like someone could just easily take a screenshot of your interaction in a dungeon and just instantly that's your drama right there. You're being toxic in a dungeon and like all this stuff happens and it's so hard to navigate anything. I'm in the same way as Frosty. I just go with the flow. Don't say anything, especially since my name is Kogon in game. So if people recognize my game and they see me being slightly remotely toxic, I'm like canceled on the spot right there. I can't deal with it. Twitter is vicious sometimes. I just try to play it safe.
There's been some stuff where I've taken screenshots and I'm like, this is kind of funny. There's just nothing I can. I have to tell somebody about this. Some just really awkward stuff that I'm like, I really don't know how to respond to it. And so whatever. I put bars over their names and stuff, and I try to like keep it civil in that way where I can. But yeah, I've had some weird interactions. Party Finder especially, right? Party Finder, you're just breeding ground for funny conversations that make no sense at all.
If you want some content, because I do a lot of my content is basically just like taking my viewers and stuff. But if I want some memes, I'm guaranteed memes if I go into Party Finder, because there's how do I describe it? Innovative ways of play style. That you find in there. You're like, And I have some great channel point redemptions that as a result, I've had people that were like, I mean, respect the stuff. I love that guy. It was P6S and it's the Exchange of Agonies. You gotta, the flares and the donuts and stuff. You gotta go to the corners and stuff. So we wiped to that, and then this guy, it was his fault. And then he typed, he didn't realize it was his fault. And he typed in party chat, come on, guys, respect the stuff, period. And then the next, like, 2 or 3 pulls, he did the same thing and nuked the group with the misplaced AoE. And then he just left.
So,
just like, it became a joke.
I do want to make a point about this. So when you're in Party Finder, we all have kind of these stories about things that people say. We have people who, like, mess up a couple times. They're like, guys, I just suck. I can't do this. And they leave. You have all these different spectrums of personalities and all these different things.
Oh, yeah.
That also, a lot of these people are on Twitter.
Yeah.
They exist in that sphere in some way. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. And so we have this plethora of different personalities and opinions and thoughts that end up in our social spaces where a lot of this drama does form too.
Right.
And so I'm pretty, I don't know.
You're pretty. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll end it there. No, I like to believe at least that I'm open-minded in regards to different people's opinions and perspectives and how they've come to those different thoughts and opinions. And I try to accept, that even if I feel like I'm right and I feel like they're wrong, it's not that bad.
Right.
it's okay to have a difference in opinion there, and I don't think that it's going to the effect on it. There are some things I'm like, nah, this is really bad, and I'm never going to be your friend or talk to you ever again. And that's happened a few times in the past, but it's rare because it has to be something like really, really like unacceptable.
Right.
And so I feel like a lot of the drama that's been happening is people not getting into perspectives and taking it so far that they're not willing to. They're like, no, you agree with me, or you're just this horrible other person I'm going to put in this other category.
Yeah.
And so
There's no winning.
it sucks.
It does suck, yeah.
And it makes it hard because then you're like, you feel like you can't even, it neutralizes you to a point to where I can't talk about this stuff. I can't have conversations about it because it's, someone's going to treat me like an enemy. But then again, like you were saying, that video with Asmongold, I'm pretty sure he goes over some of that stuff, right, in there?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah. Asmongold is definitely not a person who's a stranger to drama.
No.
I could tell you it's been rough in that perspective, and I will never understand his perspective on anything. I'm never going to be in the shoes that he has. And you could give him as much criticism as you want. And maybe there are reasons to be legitimately like, I don't like this guy. But at the same time, I'm never really going to understand that because that's so far away from me. But he has some pretty decent points every once in a while that you can agree with. And I think, from the opinions that he gave within that video, which I only watched it loosely, it makes sense. But
yeah, I think that like the biggest part about like it's, I guess, not just 14, but it goes into the internet and just like I guess Twitter as well, because that's where all conversations happen. But like people just don't want to have conversations anymore. It's always about like either you're on my side or you're not on my side. And like when it came to the whole like third-party tools, like it was vicious. Like when it came to the world race, like one of the things I heard that I was researching on this was that the JP players are being harassed and everything was because apparently they harassed NA players when they were clearing like I think ultimates and savages before. So some people were just like, well, this is just retribution. This is fair. It's like we don't have to do like what's the word? Like two wrongs don't make a right here.
Right.
Like you know, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye, exactly. And it's just disgusting because it's like, guys, like it's just a game at the end of the day. Like there's no need to. Oh, you remember that time when they were making fun of
Zoomed
us?
out eye.
Yeah, the zoom. It's just like we just gotta. I don't know. Just think at the end of the day, it's just move past this stuff. And like, I think my perspective is like, we're all humans, and like, there's only so much some people can take before like they end up deleting their whole entire characters from playing this game for about since A Realm Reborn, and that's just a lot. I could never do that. Just scares
it's
me.
crazy. I went into the FC I'm in FC with Angelus Demoness. It's just. I don't. It's not like a super active FC or anything.
Does his FC have 100 floors?
Probably.
Like the house.
Probably. Yeah. The FC house, I think, has 10. I think it has 200. 200.
200.
Yeah.
200. Okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But it's random every time you go in there, right?
It does. Yeah. Every once in a while, the furniture's in a different spot. It's really weird. It's hard to navigate.
Really I bet you there's traps too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So. The main reason I was bringing that up is because I looked back at just out of curiosity, the players in the player list, and to see how long someone's been offline. And there were people, I think it was 3,400 days offline. And you forget how long this game's been around and how many players have been playing this for so long. It's been such a huge part of their life. And that seemed like an impossible number of days to me, because I forget that too. And when we just like bully people out of this big life part, or this big piece of their life, just because we slightly disagree with something, it's kind of it sucks.
And it comes from a perspective of people who just don't get it too. Like people saw, like as we said earlier, the Zoom mod, obviously doesn't go all aligned with like the terms of services, but not the worst tool that could be used. Like I think like a lot of people who just don't raid, like I guess I don't want to like, I guess the casual side, they saw that and just ran with it. They were like, yeah, get these guys out of here. No, bad. But it's like, no guys, come on, there's way worse tools out here. And I guess they incited the more hater people to like kick those guys out and of the community essentially, and made them essentially delete the characters. And it just that's a huge part of your life right there gone. Like it's the 10th year of 14 being around. I remember born or something.
Yeah, this is like the 10th year anniversary, basically.
Yeah. Imagine having a character since the very beginning and then just having to walk away from it all because the community, like, you believe hates you for that. That's just
I got my 1.0 tattoo.
Oh, you do?
I don't. Yeah.
I do.
Oh, on your character. I meant on yourself. I was like, oh, you have a tattoo IRL. Yeah.
No. Oh, no.
Tattoos are evil. Ah.
Oh, how dare you? So is weed. Oh,
Weed is horrible.
Yeah.
Such a crazy take and opinion.
Yeah. Oh, evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like, and again, like I do know, and it's hard for us to say because I don't play on JP servers, so I don't know the community as well as others do. But from my understanding, is there a lot more critical against anything that's add-ons, anything that's anything like that. And so I remember the issue with markers from P7S that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Players would just leave groups. Those markers were used, right? They would just bail out.
How did they get there? Just tell them.
Yeah, it was such a scary thing to players that they would be in a party with somebody.
So much easier.
Yeah. And again,
you're not doing anything wrong. You just saved them from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it came from somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a function in the game now. Just copy. Oh, these are nice markers. They were doing that before. Like they had like the cursed markers, like where they're all like the big light pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've seen those.
Mhm.
Or they're like underneath the arena.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's again, it's so hard for me to like. I know what's bad, and I know what's. I feel like I have a decent understanding of what's wrong, what's right in terms of a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's still a big gray mesh of nonsense, and it will always be a big gray mesh of nonsense. But it's just that is definitely an overreaction, and I feel I don't know. We'll never be able to police it. The only thing that I will ever be able to do is, hey, look at this horrible thing that was done. Okay, well then I will take action on my side. I'll take them off of a Google spreadsheet. Right? That's all I got, man. If it's like really bad and egregious, but I'm never going to say, well, these guys, someone told me once and there was a clip of something like that. No, it has to be something like really evident. And I have to leave some level of leeway for things like the logging, unless if there's like official logging, which again, that would be so great because then I don't have to think about this stuff anymore. And there's just like, this is official here, API that gives you information that you can use. APIs in Final Fantasy XIV would be fantastic if they would allow you to pull data and bring it in very cleanly to wherever you need to pull it into, because then I wouldn't have to put the world race in a Google spreadsheet. It's such a pain in the ass. Man. And also achievements for separate bosses would be great too in Savage, just while I'm putting things out there.
Because you only get one at the very end, right?
Yeah, and it's by day. I mean, you might be able to pull some sort of date in web scraping or something from a website, but it's like...
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Just...
a lot of work.
It's a lot
so
of
much work.
man.
Just a little API would be good. And that way we don't have to worry about all of this stuff where it gets like gross, like I have to feel bad because I'm trying to have something that logs my DPS. I don't think people should feel horrible or bad about that. I don't know.
Right.
Okay, so we went over a lot of stuff here. a lot of it did go into the add-ons because that is a big part of the community and everything. And there's a whole bunch of other crap going out there. And again, like I said, like it's hard to really go into a lot of this stuff because I feel like people are weaponizing different topics and discussions to just make a point and do damage for damage's sake. And I that's what's kind of like making me a little frustrated is because this is a good community. And great community, by the way, is always going to be a meme. It's never going to go away. Every time someone does something shitty in the Final Fantasy XIV community, it's always going to be the meme that people jump to.
Yeah.
everywhere, man. It's all communities.
Yeah.
We're definitely not the worst.
Yeah,
No.
no. But it is one of those situations where it has to pull you back and realize that, there are people out there that are going to be doing shitty stuff, even in your like sanctuary community. Which I guess this is kind of like a sanctuary community in a way where you feel safe compared to other playing in other video game communities.
Right.
Yeah, if that makes any sense, I don't know.
I thought you meant Island Sanctuary for a second. I was like, there's a drama.
Me too.
I tried to do a show on that content and barely made it through. That is the least. Like, I forget it exists. I forget it exists.
I forget it exists too.
I maxed it out the first time around. I got to do the 2 newest ranks, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to get on that. But yeah, it's funny because like every week there's like a new drama in our community, and I'm just like, man, like I think this year, like I don't know, I feel like it's more prevalent this year than it has been in a bit.
Yeah,
maybe I'm just on Twitter more, but yeah, I don't know.
That's why I wanted to come on and talk about it, because it just feels like it's increasing. Like there's been just like an upsurge of it, and I don't know exactly why.
There was like, I'm trying to think of another one. But yeah, that we had the add-ons, we had G-Shade, and then we had some minor ones, but. Can you guys recall any other small ones that came by in the recent time? I'm trying to think about it. And then someone had said, content lull, so there's more dramas. So
people get bored and they just want to.
They get bored and make.
But it's not a lull. We had ultimate. We had ultimate
with it.
People just want to see more MSQ content. That's what it is. They want to see progression and expansion stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of stuff in streamer sphere stuff that's not like abnormal. To different communities, everything else, and again, I feel bad about bringing it up because these guys are my friends, and like I don't think that anyone's really horribly in the wrong anywhere.
Yeah,
people are just doing what they do, dude. It's there's not like no one's going and stabbing other people in the back or doing something horribly malicious.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'll let you know just. Out of curiosity, if you go to mogtalk.org right now, stream's there. You go there, my stream is there.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I put it there. It was mostly for the world race because like everything with this channel and people wanted to go watch the world race and everything else. I could probably just take it off, but it doesn't matter. But the stream exists there. No one really goes to that website. They watch this channel. They don't really. They go there every once in a while.
That's just the way the internet's how it works, I guess.
Yeah, and I get again in those kind of situations. I get both perspectives.
Yeah,
I literally do. I don't feel like anyone's like an evil person for going one way or the other. But our
especially something so minor in our game too. In a game too, like it's not like. Someone's like a villain just for having a certain opinion on how third-party tools are in this game, like IRL doesn't make him like a terrible person, I guess. I don't know.
One of my things my friend said to me once, we were playing Monster Hunter.
Good game.
Great game. And what was that? There's this one thing where you get like 4 gunners and you just like sat there and you stun lock one of the creatures or something. They all shoot at it at the same time and it completely diminishes. Like the whole fight, the challenge, everything. They're just like abusing a mechanic to basically get through it. And all I could really think was, man, that's lame. That sucks. And my friend was like,
fun out of it, right?
Yeah. And my friend just said, what do I care? It's not affecting me. I can still play the game however I want, right? What am I going to be worried about what these guys are doing?
True.
In the end, I'm still going to play the game and I'm going to still enjoy it. It's a single player game. It's not like they're killing me in Counter-Strike or something like that.
That's the funny part. It's like if you step away from something sometimes, like it just like I think if it wasn't for Twitter, I haven't really been touching 14 as much, but I would not have seen most.
Why
of
are you even on the show then? I'm just kidding.
No, but like
Twitter's
just a play break. Yeah, Twitter's where it usually comes through, and I've seen some small minor ones. Like I know there's one guy who was like parading about how his aura was like the most original aura ever, and anybody who tries to look like his character,
copying it.
Yes, anybody like everyone's copying my character. It's original, and it's like no, and he's got.
I use phase 3. You can't use phase 3. That's mine.
You were right. That stuff does happen because every time I see someone with a Moogle head, I'm like, dude, they're just ripping me.
ripping you off.
They're
I
ripping
can't
me off,
believe it.
dude. Like I'm the Moogle head. I'm the original Moogle head character. And
I'm
so,
the only one that uses 2B leggings.
You?
yeah,
Yeah.
I swore I
God.
saw other people using. I'm sorry.
No, that's mine. I'm original.
Copyright.
No.
And the Shisui top.
The Shisui
Mm.
top. Oh, that
Mhm.
from the dungeon. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, people get so like it's a weird mentality too. It's like a lot of like the casual people and the hardcore people usually clash a lot too when it comes to opinions on things. And if you guys notice that as well too, like I feel like casual players tend to be more like laid back. They don't really care about performances. But the second anything about like, oh, we should have like parsing in the game, that's when they get very like offensive about it. I guess defensive about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like a clash mentalities in the game. And that's
You know
what I think
what's-
is where it comes from.
So I have had lots of different conversations with lots of different people. Like I've explored so many different assets of this game, and every single one, there is a drama within their community about something.
Yeah.
Housing drama is huge. Like not the what you're thinking about with
don't get me started.
lotteries and everything
Oh
else.
my god,
Not
housing
that.
drama.
But I mean, like getting into the customization of houses and making those really cool things, and then someone is commissioned to do this stuff or someone's commissioned to do that stuff, and all that. Even in that community, lots of drama. It exists everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And
I thought you were talking about like the drama where people were buying a bunch of FC houses.
Oh,
And
there's that.
There's that.
There's that
That's
too. Yeah.
They get out they get the whole ward, and they'll if anyone that's not in their FC is in that ward, they'll like stand around their house with like obnoxious mounts and just like kind of bully them until they like,
Mhm.
all right, fine, I'll relocate. Jeez.
yeah,
I think there's even like I don't know, like RP drama, even like people in this underground. I'm not even familiar with that, but I feel like people in that circle like know a lot more than I do. People just like
Mhm.
I don't know. There's always different facets, like you said, and it's just interesting that
Oh, I'm
it
sure.
may not hit the mainstream audience, but yeah.
hmm I will say, yeah, going into the lottery system, I mean,
There's-
we
yeah.
can talk about that a little bit,
There's
right?
definitely
Oh
club
my
drama, I'm
god.
sure.
Uh,
The venues and stuff. I'm sure there's like shit going on behind the scenes.
Well,
No, I thought you
I
were
don't
talking
know
about the FanFest lottery.
I mean,
no?
it does
Oh,
lead to
that
that,
one.
right?
Yeah, there's that.
I
Yeah.
had a pretty good meme. I was like, that one. That was pretty funny.
I
Mhm.
retweeted it.
There is never going to be a perfect system for FanFest tickets. I mean, they could just
No.
try their best and do whatever
No,
they can.
I know. I just wanted to make a meme.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. Hopefully,
You're
there's enough
good.
tickets, and it's probably there's some good points. Probably helps with the whole scalping situation. People buying too many tickets at once.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
like,
will-
okay, I can see some value in that, but it also it's a lottery system. It's like, am I gonna get this ticket?
Yeah.
Like, I've been streaming, and like this has been my life. Like I've been playing this game. Like if I don't get a ticket, like I'm gonna freak.
No, and that's
especially
how a
since they
lot of
keep the
people-
Shadowbringers ones. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Rusty.
before it was always we felt like we had some level of control to where if we were there just super really that microsecond earlier than everyone else and we were like way more prepared and everything else, we'd be great. And we'd get in. We have our guarantee by going really hardcore. And I would always buy, I've not ashamed to admit it at all, 4 tickets every single time. It didn't matter. I would always buy 4 tickets because it gave me control to get me and my friends in. And it was allowed. It wasn't like it was something that was bad, right? And in the end, if I had an extra ticket, I found someone to give them a ticket.
Yeah.
And well, I sold it to them at a discounted price.
Right.
So, because I keep the last time I did that, I kept the bag. I was like, I'm keeping this bag. There you go. You have a badge. You can go in.
No.
No, but seriously, and there is, I will say there is some level of I wish that they would because they do like give media release or media passes out and stuff like that to get different people to go in and but you never know for sure.
I don't know.
I wish they would
think
give
it
those out before you buy tickets.
That'd be nice. I don't. But then it might be another situation where they do some like collaboration with streamers, and it's like, well, not everyone's gonna get invited, and then there's like some backlash from that too. Like
Ben,
it was the sub event or whatever. You get like a pet
Oh,
or something.
the Black Chocobo thing.
Well, Black Choco, that's it. Yeah,
that one.
So like,
yeah,
so
It's
if
gonna
it's
happen.
like, well, we can only invite these people. It's like, or
not everybody.
media tour. It's like it'll be more selective, and then people are just
Yeah.
gonna insert it. So
I think from my perspective, it's like if I don't get into like some kind of
Yeah.
media access thing, like it's whatever.
It'd be
Just go enjoy the event for
it'd be nice to
me.
get a little recognition, but
Yeah, but then it comes down to like how do you get recognized?
right.
Like the number of views, Twitter
You
followers,
just say
YouTube.
I'm the little son. Just
No.
why you have to invite me.
You know,
I should go and like DM like one of the CMs to see if I have a chance with that.
yeah. The one thing you shouldn't do is get on a podcast to talk about add-ons.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I think we didn't do that. Yeah, we're good. Yeah,
Delete the VOD.
yeah. This
Yeah.
never happened.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
I noticed for sure they understand these kind of conversations happen, and people need
Yeah.
to talk about the stuff. It's healthy to have these kind of conversations
Mhm.
about the game and everything
Yeah.
else. As long as you're not like promoting and you're like go download this spyware or malware or something like that. I mean, yeah. When we were talking about getting in the FanFest, it was always by chance if you're going to be able to get those tickets. I've been lucky enough to be able to get the tickets when I got the tickets. The only one that wasn't horrible was the very first FanFest when I bought tickets there, because you had a few minutes. You had like a few minutes to be able to buy those tickets before it sold out.
It sold out. Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's every single time it's sold out. Yeah, it's
Crazy.
never not sold out. It's been seconds that it sells out, and so yeah, the scalping thing is going to be, extremely important to get it down to 2, right? So it makes it a little bit harder to do it, but people already have lots of accounts that they can kind of abuse in that situation too.
Yeah.
So it is tough, because it does give an advantage to some people in those situations. But we'll see how it works out. I mean, I'm
going regardless. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like if I get a ticket or not, like plans have been made. So
Yeah, I heard
I'll
people
be
just
there.
go and like
Yeah.
half the fun happens outside the venue anyways.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, yeah, go see your friends and everything.
Exactly.
It
Like,
sucks
I'm
that it's
gonna-
not in a casino like it was
So.
before.
I
Because
don't care about the whole gambling thing, but yeah.
well, I mean, like that's the thing though. Like since it was like embedded in the event venue of a casino, you could just walk out and there was buffets, there was gambling.
Oh, true,
There was
true.
like all kinds of things that you could go do. Little restaurants you can go eat with your friends and hang out, and bars and stuff like that.
Gordon Ramsay
Yeah.
restaurants.
Like the 2018 or it was 2016 actually, I think, where they had it in the
Yeah.
Paris. Is that right? The Paris hotel. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But you could literally just walk to their little kind of area that just had a whole bunch of tables and everything, and just order beers and hang out with people, and it was great.
Beers by Square Enix? They were like selling beers to
Oh,
you
it was
guys,
not
or-
Square Enix. It was a
okay.
casino. It was some place in the casino, yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember sitting there. My favorite. I was sitting with Klops and a couple of people. Layla from the World Race scene, and a handful of racers, and just other people. And we're just all kind of hanging out. I think, yeah, Mike was there. Mr. Happy was there. We're all just kind of talking and having beers.
I'm
There's
excited
an
to
open
meet
area.
a bunch of these bunch of our
Yeah.
content creators and people in my community and the Final Fantasy community. It's gonna be really cool.
I think this year though it might be a bit interesting because with all the drama, all the clashing,
not.
people are gonna be
Literally
I mean,
not. So I'm going to
oh.
let you know.
Okay.
It's really important that I put this out there. I
Okay.
was heavily involved in the PvP community, not as much as I have been recently, although I'm still a strong supporter of PvP and everything in Final Fantasy XIV. The time just limits me to what I can really do.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do PvP events in the future and everything else as well. But I was at the point where I was leading discords. I was doing lots of really hardcore stuff in the background for PvP. And there was so much drama, like
Heard.
mountains of drama in the PvP community. Of course, when you get the FanFest, no one gives a fuck. Everybody just wants to hang out and have a good time and talk. There's going to be a couple of people maybe that just like off to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I think most people probably have like their own little
Their groups of friends.
social
Yeah.
circles, and
they'll
you might meet up with some others. Like
they just
every
want to
now
go and
then.
have fun they're not there to ruin everybody else's fun. They're there to
Hey,
have fun
They
themselves.
probably got
Here.
their friends just like to hang
Yeah.
out with.
Hey, okay.
It's different. I've never had a horrible situation where people who are on different opposing sides of whatever
Yeah.
cliques and stuff and discords been a crazy battle or anything. It's always been like there has been less drama and more just people having fun and being excited to be around their friends that they've been with for years in the Final
Exactly.
Fantasy XIV community. And that is literally why this is one of the most enjoyable events. And it's like I was so skeptical going to a con before like this because I was going to go in there. I think the very first one, 2014. Like I just was
Yeah.
just getting into the game, and I wore a WoW T-shirt. And I was just like, I'm gonna,
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna be
You
like,
got a WoW T-shirt.
Final Fantasy nerds. Ha! I got a WoW shirt. Final Fantasy nerds.
No.
Right? It's like I went in
Yeah.
there. And I just had so much fun. I got with a random group of people from Reddit to do some of the events together and everything else. And we just had a blast. And not everyone there we knew. It was me and my wife together. And I wasn't doing any content creation or anything. And it was literally fun just to have a table to talk with other people who play Final Fantasy XIV and be excited when they did the Heavensward trailer and all the other stuff that they did. And just talk about it, be geeky. And I fell in love with it. It's the reason MogTalk exists, because of 2014 FanFest. It's like after that, I was so obsessed and I wanted to keep talking about Final Fantasy XIV and getting together with people who liked it.
Right.
And so the event itself is really just a venue to get together, like an official venue to get together with friends that like Final Fantasy XIV.
So is that like the drama cure for the community? Just have FanFest and then everyone will be just in harmony with each other?
I mean, almost.
Will behave a little bit better.
Yeah,
I would hope.
They do.
Yeah.
They're. I can't say it's going to be 100% drama free. Somebody might be out there, but I can't imagine people being like
Malicious.
horribly malicious, because they want to enjoy their time. That's it.
Right. I'm looking forward to it too, if we get tickets, of course. But
I mean, and that's the thing. Like being so worried
Yeah.
about getting tickets, and again, it is a concern with the lottery. We're not used to that in America. It's abnormal to us, but we were already in some level of lottery because of how hard it was to get tickets before, because everyone just buys it
Yeah.
immediately. Same thing with PlayStation 5s, right? It was so difficult to get a PlayStation 5 for so long, years. And so it's going to be the same situation with these kind of events, but the way they handle it is probably the best way that they can handle it for right now. You guys have all opted in or did whatever, right? You filled out your applications.
Oh,
I got my sister to do it too, just to make sure. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta get my wife to do it.
You have to have an active sub, and my wife does have a sub, but it's not active. So.
Oh.
Well, my wife's sub is active because we have a house that she owns.
Oh.
So that's the main reason.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, no. Now I thought about it, it's like, yeah, I need to make sure she does that too. But yeah, I don't think it's like a. I feel there are going to be people who are upset. No matter what, someone's going to get the short end of the stick, and it sucks. But I don't think there's any way to avoid it. Again, this venue is really huge. They don't maximize. A lot of people are like they should maximize it, but man, that would cost a lot of money. And you go to TwitchCon and things like that, and you're like, there's just lots of different things to do with TwitchCon, lots of different panels, lots of different crazy stuff. FanFest doesn't have that much. There's not that much to the FanFest, right? You have the little mini games around the area, and then you'll have one main panel area, and that's really it. Plus, like maybe a couple other rooms with like dedicated 24-man computer setups and things like that. And then you have the merchandise area.
Details, do they? Yeah. They don't have any details on what's happening this year. They just said it's happening, and here's past videos.
I mean, they have the concerts. They have very high level details.
Concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't remember exactly what it showed on the Lodestone. They did say they updated it and they put some more stuff in there, but
yeah.
But this will create some level of drama, no matter what. Because what Todd said is true. Some people are going to be able to get in. Great. And then after that, some content creators or some people, media, will likely be able to get in too. But then some won't. And then it gets into that situation where it sucks because there's a lot of people in the community scene. Like I've had stuff taken from me that I'm used to having, like certain interviews and everything else, because there's enough people out there, especially when like the WoW surge happened, that like it makes sense to like prioritize some people over others. It is
right.
I think it's the whole talk of like some people are just like doubting their like success, their like their progress of being a content creator. Like, oh, I've done this much and like I haven't got any recognition off of it. Yeah, so it's gonna get messy, and it's just what it is at this point. It's just can't do anything about it.
There's it sucks, and I feel bad because I would want everybody to be a part of it, right?
Right.
And so what would be your limit of like, well, this person needs this many followers, this person needs this much, you know?
I say my limit would be like 20,000 followers. I have that. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna be
Whatever
invited.
meets your criteria.
Everybody else, sorry, I want to get in now. But who knows the criteria? Like, and
I
it's
have no
weird.
idea. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like because they invited different people for like the media tour, like it's various
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah, and like I'll be surprised. Like I'm gonna be real here. Like I seen some people get invited. And I'm like, oh, like I know that their content existed before, but it was a nice way to get introduced to them. But
Mhm.
it makes you just wonder like why someone that has been in the community for so long here been invited, but someone who makes a little bit of content gets invited. So
Yeah.
it's just who knows really. And for me, it's just it is what it is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's like people at Square that part of like their social team or whoever. I'm sure they've gone onto Twitch and they kind of get a feel for
their content.
They get a feel for different
Right.
communities, different channels. So there might be some other. I'm not going to say,
Oh.
but there's probably
Now
some
I gotta be
conversations.
conscious of that now.
I mean, you never know because I know a few that are like really nice and stuff. But
yeah. Oh, they're
that
great
like
people.
to raid. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm they're aware of like the different communities, and
Right.
so I'm sure they have like a list of like, all right, well, this is a person that's probably more marketable, or
And it
we're
sucks
also
to have to.
in a way we're representing them, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
if they bring us on, like, oh,
They have
this
to be
content
in a
creator,
certain way.
then they kind of have to vet us.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, like,
I'd say.
here's the other thing that goes along with that too is that like, they have to be aware that you exist. That's one thing, right?
That is also true.
The other thing is, and they may be more aware of people who've been like in the community for a while and everything because they exist, they've been on lists and everything else. But newer people have come into the community recently and don't have like tons and tons of followers, but they have more than this person who's been around for a while. They might not get the invite and they'll be upset over that.
Right.
And there's only so much they can really do, and it sucks also to have to be the person that has to say this person but not this person, right?
Yeah.
You
Not
can't.
fun.
You cannot feel great about being in that kind of position because you don't want to have to be the person that does that.
Yeah.
I know.
I will say I did look up what the website said. Keynote, development panels, live concerts, up to every single one. New battle challenge. I don't know if that means they're going to put something that we haven't seen before, which they do every once in a while, and have people go and do a little fun event with it.
Okay.
Regular activities, experiences, and then contest, and then live stream. It's going to be on a live stream, but
Okay, fun. Oh, I guess I have a question for you guys. The price point for the ticket, $200-ish. How are we feeling about that?
I mean, I guess
heard.
bigger venue.
Yeah, more money.
Expensive, more
so
money.
how much?
Yeah.
Tell me if you're thinking about going to a concert, right?
Yeah.
How much would a concert ticket cost?
It's like $2. I don't want paying that much.
No,
No, maybe 100.
Lawn seats.
120. Yeah.
Yeah.
Live stream it. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
maybe like $100, $200. Yeah. Why?
100, 200. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is 2 days of full events.
It's pretty.
That's
fair.
true. Yeah.
And you get a bag of goodies.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Some
And
swag.
so it's a decent amount of stuff that they put into it. And they spend millions of dollars on these events.
That is true. Yeah.
And they're not cheap. And so
I-
I think and man, inflation is a bitch.
Yeah, it
is
is.
bad right now.
I know. They give you a dozen eggs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, eggs? Oh, let's
Yo.
Yeah. It's yeah. I have all my stuff that I've gotten from every fan fest. Like
Nice.
I've saved it. I've never gotten rid of it. So I have all the backpacks. I have the different bags and different little books and everything else. And so I think that it's fine. The $199 is kind of to be expected. I think one of the first ones was like what $120 or something back when 2014. 10 years is a lot. 9-10 years is a lot of time for prices to go up.
I heard it was like $40 back then too. Like it was like
it $40?
really...
No, I think
I saw a tweet. I swore I saw a tweet. Someone like it was like $40. Your thing has been processed and you're good to go. But I don't know.
That's like for the online event. I think maybe that they did.
They
did a premium online event.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't be too upset. I think that the 200's fine. I mean, if they were
Like,
getting
it's
to like
fine, but
500,
it
I'd be
hurt.
like, yeah.
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 I'm looking forward to it though. Yeah, when is it, like July-ish time? So
July,
Yeah.
July
Yeah.
28th to
Hopefully
29th. You want to go, but you haven't even like figured out the dates.
look,
Square
I didn't
Enix
book my hotel.
asked
A
this guy.
friend did.
Yeah, I got.
I'm still added details on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are planning to go on the strips and everything else there, but I've already done
Right, I
enough
heard
enough of the casinos for me to be like, I just want like the most
I'll try
comfy
the
place.
buffets. I just want some good food,
Mm.
Yeah, and if you
good company.
if you haven't been to Vegas before, I would definitely say try to get a place on the strip, because that it's an experience in itself too, where you can go hang out with
Right.
friends and everything else.
Mhm,
I'm going to be
mhm.
completely focused on FanFest for the most part, and then maybe going to get a couple places to eat.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be fun.
I think we'll all be. I mean, we're content creators, right? We gotta like grab as much details as we can and have fun while we're there or something.
And
Or Todd, are you
I'm
on
not going to
vacation?
stay
Yeah.
for the concert that's following it on Sunday.
Yeah, because there's like a one that's out of the 2 days or
Mhm.
something, I believe. Yeah,
I
I'm
just
not sure
can't
if I'm
do it.
staying or
I have to go back to
Yeah.
work.
Oh no,
that's
I'm taking
great.
like a week and a half.
I
So,
wish I
like,
could.
before
I
and
really
after.
wish I could.
Oh, one day
Uh.
Frosty, one day.
A good question, Chance. Which minions are going to give this time? 7 and 10 are ones that they've done before. So I literally don't know. They could do all kinds of ones. Maybe they'll finally start banking on Final Fantasy 9. I don't know.
Oh, the remake game?
Well, I mean, like the minions that they give.
Minions?
Because they give minions every single time for FanFest virtual items.
Oh right.
Oh,
Yeah, virtual. That's right.
Yeah. Because they've done
Oh,
the
I-
Final Fantasy
I
7
know.
ones. They've done Final Fantasy 10 ones.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, I think 9 would be good. I mean, they could do 6.
6 would be great.
yeah.
I'd love
What
to
about
see six.
7? I want 7. I like 7.
They've done 4 as well, right? Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
did 4. They could do 16. That is not
6? Oh, I can see 16. Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be one as well.
Mhm.
so. They have all kinds of stuff that they could do.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I think we've spent about 2 hours talking about drama, and we've gone over a lot. And again, this is stuff that we're not immune to. We've all seen it. I'm sure all of us have been like in some level of drama, even if we didn't want to. Like for me, example, I said Thancred was going to die one expansion, and I got into a lot of hurt for that in certain communities, and I'm sorry. And I take back what I said. Thancred's not dying in Endwalker.
Mhm.
I'm taking that back, just to let you guys know. Although, you know what? Maybe there's a technicality where I was right.
You mean you weren't wrong?
Close.
True.
You know, I think that I was right. So,
They owe you an apology. Yeah, you were right
Yeah.
to a certain
Yeah, there's
extent.
a few more patches. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh, don't say that. Stop. They'll never do it. I hope not.
Well, they said they were gonna get rid of the scions or something. Like we were done with
Well,
it.
when they said that, I think they meant retire them, not off them.
You
but,
can retire them like really good.
No,
like they did
I don't
Papa
want
Limo.
yeah, I forgot he existed.
He got
Watching
retired
it.
pretty hard.
A little bit.
Minfilia too. Yeah, Minfilia.
Aw.
Oh, well, she kept coming for a little bit. Like she stayed with us until like that last expansion, right?
Yeah, but now she's permanently retired, so she's gone.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to go over before we wrap up the show?
Todd, do you have anything? I got something to say, but I'll probably wait if you want to.
No, hey, I want to hear it. What do you got?
I was gonna say, I guess when it comes to all this drama stuff, everybody like, I guess always remember there's always somebody behind the phone, the monitor, the computer, whatever. It just always take a second to realize that people can only take so much harassment or something. So don't try to witch hunt. Don't try to jump on it and like harass somebody to like oblivion if you can. And check on your homies. Sometimes your homies might get into something, and maybe a little bit of harassment might not be something they can take care of, and just make sure people are okay. That's what I'm.
If I can add on like a little bit more to that too, it's like even if the harassment you're like not the harassment. Let's just say you're not giving harassment. You're giving a heavy opinion. Like you believe you're right, and you're directing it. You're like, I gotta tell this guy he's a piece of shit because he's a piece of shit. So just imagine that stuff's there. But there are people who are saying lots worse things than you are. That's contributing to a big stack and pile that eventually can get too big.
Yes.
And we've seen that happen and have very dramatic endings to it. So if you guys could please just realize again, like Ko was saying here, we're all playing Final Fantasy XIV. We're human, and there are way more important things in the world than being mad at somebody for having a difference of an opinion on a video game.
Agreed.
Right. You got to have like exercise like a certain level of tolerance, because people are going to say things that you just don't like, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
you got to have some kindness and compassion along the way too, and just stop and
Empathy.
listen. Stop,
Yeah.
listen to people, and try to have a conversation. If you are incapable of doing that, then maybe you just step back from that situation.
Yeah. Like, I've seen so many things on Twitter that I could easily jump on and say something, but for the best, just walk away. There's no need. People like to talk, just let them talk. As long as it doesn't hurt people, then, just whatever. Just ignore it is what I'm trying to get at. When it hurts somebody, that's when you want to jump in. But as we've been saying, we've seen it with the world race. People were harassed to the point where I know people want to debate that they weren't harassed to delete their characters, but I would say harassment did not help at all. So
they did
who
it
knows?
100% because of the community's reaction. It was literally the community reaction. No one was like going, "Hey, you got to delete your character," but that is still the cause of what happened.
Right.
You never know what people are going through. Exactly.
Exactly.
You could be the difference in like someone having a much better day, but just like being nice.
Right.
Like small act of kindness can go a long way.
Exactly. And that's what I got.
Yeah, and I mean, there's two sides. You can say, well, people just need to toughen up. And you can say, well, people just need to calm the fuck down too, right? So you're like having two different battles, I guess, right here, and both could be better in many different ways. And you can only control yourself. You can't control other people and how their abilities to accept things or their abilities to calm down. You can just control yourself and try to work on that. But anyways, Todd, did you have more to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what do you got, Todd?
Oh no, I mean I think we're talking about things but not really talking about things. I know there's definitely some issues that like people know about, but it's hard to like dive directly into that, because I feel like I am not educated enough to just like, okay, well, this is going on, so like what should I say? But I see people in my community just like being hurt by things, so I take issue with that. So I'm just gonna repeat myself just to show kindness, like, and if you can't, then just please just maybe get off the internet for a little bit.
Yes.
Before you hit that send now or tweet, just maybe take a step back and like, all right, is this really worth saying? Is this going to do harm? It's like, am I getting my point across? Because a lot of people, you're not going to change their minds. You're not, and you're just going to end up hurting someone. So unless you can have a conversation like individually, like respectful manner, like maybe not go to Twitter with that take.
Yeah, and just a reminder too for everybody, while the stuff happens and exists, and it feels like we're that meme of walking into your friend's apartment with everything's on fire and you just have some pizza. You're like, man, I just went to go get some pizza real quick, and everybody's the whole thing's burning down. Yeah, but there's also the side of the community that just raised $56,000 for Children's Hospital. Just watching a world race and having fun and hanging out together. So we're doing pretty good. But there's still stuff out there that we could do better, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty happy with overall the Final Fantasy XIV community. But just bring that same positivity into all these other different situations too.
Agreed.
But yeah. Okay, well, if that's all we got for today, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We could talk about drama probably for 40 hours or so, but my daughter tells me I got 2 hours. So I'm going to go finish off tonight with the family, and then I'll try to get this up on YouTube sometime tomorrow. By tomorrow, we'll try to get it up there for everybody. And before we leave, 100%. I want both of you guys to say where people can find you, even though we have it on the screen and everything else. But just voice it out where people can find you, if they'd like to. And we'll start with Ko, since you were the first time being on here.
Yeah. Yes. You guys can find me at Llamatodd at Twitter. No. You guys can find me at Kogon, Kougaon, with the little line at the end, underscore, whatever it's called. Yeah. On Twitter, Twitch, and just search it on Google, YouTube at this point. Like, I think I'm relevant enough, hopefully. So yeah, that's where you guys can find me. I'm usually just shit posting on Twitter most days now. So.
And I hear you have an event coming up, right?
What event? Oh, are we gonna? No? Can we advertise that real quick?
Advertise whatever you want. I don't care.
Not?
Okay, please. I would like.
I already set you up.
Okay, yeah. You guys want me to? Okay, so Todd and I have to sing in a maid outfit real soon.
Oh.
So,
well, not that one.
Oh, what are you talking about then?
This weekend, right? You have like the.
There was something you were working helping out with.
Oh yeah, so there is a dance group, Esprit. They're Esprit. They have a dance. They're featuring some people. What happened?
Nothing.
Oh,
the maid outfit. Oh man.
Oh, God damn it. Well, that's happening as well. Shen is a part of that. If you guys want to check that out, people are dancing. Really great stuff. And yes, the maid outfit thing will happen soon. Be on the lookout for that whenever Todd is feeling brave enough for that. He's the one holding me back, by the way. I would have done it a while ago.
Yeah.
So.
We almost showed up on this stream with our outfits.
And I wish you guys would have, because it would have made the show a lot more fun.
It would have been. I know. Damn.
Next time. All right, Todd, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You go.
All right, you can find me at twitch.tv/Llamatodd. And I know we were just talking about charity, and I'm actually going to be doing a charity event next week for the American Heart Association. So February is Heart Month, and so I'll be talking about that because, well, it's a bit more personal this time since I've had like some heart related issues and stuff. So I also got a surgery coming up, and I'll just be talking about, I guess, my experience and raising money for a really good cause.
Awesome, man. Mm-hmm. And so you'll be doing that pretty soon. Just like, is it like multiple days? Is it one day?
Oh yeah, all next week. Just trying to raise money. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Good luck.
Yeah, check that out. The shout out command just refreshed, so I was able to use it again.
We stalled enough, yeah.
Yeah, so perfect. So please follow both of these wonderful people. It's pretty easy. Their names, fortunately, are very easy to Google. So
yeah.
If you want to follow,
if you spell my name correctly, then yeah.
It's so hard to spell your name correctly.
You asked me before the show how to say it too.
You have a copy paste name. All right, just to let you know, you have a copy-paste name.
A copy-paste?
Fair.
Just when you don't spell it right, you go find it, you copy it, and you paste it somewhere else. And I'm sorry, but that's how it is.
I gotta rebrand. That's
it's perfect. It's fine.
Thank you.
But anyway,
thanks for having us, Frosty. Yeah.
Of course, you guys are both fantastic.
Thank you for having us.
It means a lot that you guys come on this show. It's not an easy show to have to talk about this stuff because it's feels dangerous sometimes, right? You never know. But I mean, I feel like everybody here is very respectful in that sense, and they can have civil conversations about this stuff because we need to. Right. I do my best when this comes up because the Final Fantasy XIV community is an important part of who I've been over the last near decade. To have civil conversations with it, and not, I'm not going to go out there and push something way far into a side and try to like do whatever I can to, I don't know, make the situation worse. I want to have a civil conversation about understanding because that's important. But yeah, guys, if you want to, please follow the channel if you haven't already. MogTalk, Google MogTalk, you'll find it everywhere. It's kind of the same thing. Frosty is much harder to find if you Google. Unfortunately, but Frosty TV Stream is the Twitter. Funny name, easy to remember name. but yeah, MogTalk you can Google and you can find it where you need to. And with that all being said, I'm not exactly sure what the conversation is going to be next week, but I do hope that we do have a show next week. That's the plan. We'll have to see how things kind of evolve and move forward with. I guess the next handful of days, maybe some more rating discussion. Feel like it might be time to really start diving deep into some jobs, but we'll see. And everybody, thank you for watching again. We're gonna raid somebody, so stick around for that raid. But other than that, be good, keep cool, stay frosty, all that good stuff. Ha ha ha. Say bye, guys. Bye and wave. You have to say bye and wave.
Guys.